So we had some big day for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Recap what happened, what we announced today.
Jeez, all right, I should have brought crib notes of some kind. So yesterday we had Phoenix Wright and, of course, Nova.
Human Rocket.
There he goes. We announced those characters for the game and showed them off. They were fantastic. So we're almost to our complete roster, but then today, the big news was a new mode called Heroes and Heralds mode, where you can choose to sort of fight with Galactus to try and defend the Earth or against. But apart from the story elements, you can actually pick all these crazy character cards that give you different abilities. So from smaller stuff to like double jump to things like turning invisible to being able to parry to be able to do whatever you want. So it's completely nuts. It's mental. You can stack up the cards 3 at a time. It's a completely free download that's going to be coming a little post-launch. So can't argue with free. It's mental. Other things include you can also play as Galactus.
Boom! Crazy!
Yeah, that's insane also. It's just a little fun throwaway that we're going to, I think it's going to be awesome. People can battle against the heroes, and we revealed that at the Marvel Games panel with Mr. Chris Baker, and that was fantastic. And it's been a roller coaster ride of one to the next.
Now, we need a little clarification because we had Javon Frazier on earlier. The monster that he is was a little confused about the fine art points about how you play as Galactus. When you're Galactus, you're not loaded up with Galactus and Sentinel, and you are like he was talking about. Yeah, my team is like maybe Hulk and Sentinel and Galactus, and I'm like, well, that's not fair. Why would you do that?
Yeah, we talked about how we were going to put him in the game and whether you could use him as an assist, and I felt like that would be kind of. My assist is Galactus. He eats your planet, and you're done. No, so basically, if you played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the original, and you fought against Galactus as the boss, it's basically your chance to flip the script, and you'll be now fighting against teams of heroes that the computer will send at you as Galactus, doing all of his ridiculous magic fingers and the pound that just completely kills you in one shot. The heroes can get around that, and they get progressively harder as you go through. But it's just a little bit of fun that we wanted to let people have a chance to play as the big man in a fair way.
I'm psyched for it. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
This, I guess you guys were giving this out this weekend?
Yeah, we've been giving those out. That's, of course, your beautiful Marvel art. That's also going to be part of our box art. So we've got what's reversible box art. So we've got our Japanese artist, Shikiro, and I believe this is Mark Brooks.
Mark Brooks.
None other. And so you can choose which side you want to have as your box cover on the game. So that's very cool, a nice little touch to the Marvel and the Capcom history. See a little taste of Rocket Raccoon, one of our last remaining characters. He's done by Frank West.
I am so psyched for Rocket Raccoon in this game.
Dude,
how did Rocket Raccoon get in the game? Because it's not like, oh yeah, okay, we got Hulk, we got Spider-Man, Rocket Raccoon, let's go.
Well, I think you guys had some ideas about Rocket Raccoon for sure, and we also just thought, in terms of all the crazy weapons that he's always using and in terms of his different techniques, and also he's an unusual character size, and we just thought we knew with all of his crazy moves and crazy weapons we could have a good time with him, and we really did. So he's one of the, he's got some of the most unique elements in the game. This weekend is all about Nova and Phoenix Wright, but yeah, Rocket Raccoon, definitely one of my favorites. We haven't, it's last but definitely not least.
We actually have a question in from Random Nerd Chris, who's been watching the live feed all weekend long, and is asking specifically about Rocket Raccoon, when we're going to get more information. Well, the game comes out November 15th.
November 15th.
So we've got about a month to go. Somewhere within the next month, you'll have all the information you would require about Rocket Raccoon and Frank West.
That is true.
So, boom. Good.
Won't be too long.
Yeah. Sorry, people are asking me about my Hello Kitty notebook that I've been writing questions in. Yeah, it's a real thing.
It's delightful.
It is. What have you been doing this convention? Are you stuck at, shouldn't say stuck.
Yes, it is a pit of humanity.
You guys can't see it over there, but just like the Marvel booth, it's just a ring of people around the Capcom booth.
As you pointed out, we're right by the exit, so we're clogging the whole place up.
Kind of a jerk move.
If you can't get to the bathroom, I know, our games are too fun.
They are.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. So let's think. Yesterday we did a Street Fighter Cross Tekken panel. We did a stunt today. Then onto the Marvel Games panel. Then onto an Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The game got its own panel. That was in, I believe, one of the biggest rooms here. It was packed to capacity, standing room only, all the way around the sides and the back.
That's awesome.
Incredible reception from those guys. Over at the booth, we've been running tournaments, doing some live stream, trying to walk people through some of the characters, because Phoenix Wright is very weird. It's hard to play as a lawyer who collects evidence in a fighting game, but we did it. So they're walking people through that one a little bit, as well as showing off Nova and some of the ways he sort of utilizes some of his sort of unique powers. the Nova Force, and trying to implement some of that and show off how that works in the game as well. So it's just been one thing after another. I think I've signed more autographs this weekend than in the rest of my life combined. So the New York crowd has been super awesome to all of us.
Dude, you're a superstar.
Yeah.
It's great when you joined Twitter like a month ago or so, and like boom, thousands of followers. It's great.
I love these guys, so that's where I came from as well. So I was just a Street Fighter player like anybody else. Love the Marvel, love the Street Fighter, Capcom fighting nerd, and now I'm on the inside and trying to do our best for everybody out there.
I've been telling some of the people we've been walking around with, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have Seth Killian on. He was basically a good Street Fighter 2 player, and now he does all kinds of awesome stuff, which is an abridged version of your history, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, but it's been, I don't know, it's just been an amazing turnout. Just seeing all these people, we're a big believer in live events and just coming out and having, that direct sort of face-to-face with fans and letting them, above it all, play our games.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been all about here, and Ultimate Marvel was the star of the show. We actually got a little bit rained out. Javits had a little bit of water coming through the ceiling. What? Javits Center. And actually fried one of our dev kits. So Marvel was down at the beginning of yesterday, and we had just the crowd, and then we made the announcement. I've never seen so many sad faces. Like they're just like, what? It was like, don't worry, we're going to dry it out. We're going to bring it back and, give us an hour.
Yeah.
So we got it all dried out, and, wasn't expecting a rain delay on Marvel vs. Capcom, but yeah, we pulled it off. So
the fan Random Nerd Chris wants to ask a question about Groot and if he'll be involved in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and we don't want to reveal too much about Rocket Raccoon, whether or not that's going to happen. So just do the little tantalizing idea that maybe you'll find out a little bit more, or you have to find out a little bit more in the next month or so.
It's true. And then again, with the Heroes and Heralds mode, we've got new art for a ton of characters, both from the Capcom and Marvel universes. So one of the characters I was interested in seeing in the main game, the Multiple Man, who of course was not cool enough to be in the main game. Sorry, Multiple Man. But he did make it in the Heroes and Heralds mode, so a lot of old favorites on the Capcom side as well. People ask us about Power Stone, some of those kinds of games that aren't
I love Power Stone.
I know, but dude, that was...
Seriously.
Power Stone 2,
I would punch you, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love you.
You can do that. That's a fair response.
I would never punch you.
That's a fair response. Other people will. Somebody here will take
No! I will fight for you.
It'll happen.
Kind of teeing off of that, we have Brian M. Holt, who's been watching and asking us some questions the whole feed. Any characters who ended up on the cutting room floor, were you bummed out about them that maybe we can see them now?
So basically when characters end up on the cutting room floor, they usually don't get too far down the road. So we had some concepts for guys like Silver Surfer, but it was really just sort of concepts as like, this is how it could work. It's not like we have full characters that are finished and we can just sort of turn them loose, because that takes a huge amount of work and effort. So we don't really have anything like that. But yeah, we'll talk to you someday about some of the other characters we wanted to have in there. Silver Surfer, was he on the board? Was he off the board? Like, what was going to happen?
Sure.
Yeah, it's not really, is he hit you with the board? He didn't really hit people with the board. You know, it's like, it doesn't really work with the rest of the characters. Great character, but he didn't make the cut for us this time.
That makes sense. There's one character I remember when early on I was at Marvel Studios and there was a character in the build and it was like, oh, this is gonna be great, and then he got cut. And I've been bummed about him, and I'll tell you offline. Sorry guys, haha. Mrs. Fooley says she's watching us on the live feed and just says hello. So let's wave hello. So Sedna51 once says, is there something we'd love to do with a character that we haven't done yet, so we can answer that? So when in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, are there modifications to the characters? Chris Baker, who is in our games division, has been doing some great blogs for Marvel.com and for like IGN maybe and some other places. GameSpot, sorry.
Spreading the love.
Yeah, they're all around. But he's been blogging about the different costumes. So while there'll be different costumes, will there be anything else changed about the characters?
Yeah, so a bunch of the returning characters are getting so everybody's been rebalanced. So some of the characters get new moves, some of the characters get whole new modes. So like Ryu, the classic from the Street Fighter series, he can power up into this Denjin mode where it's sort of whirlwinds and electricity flying out of everything. He gets a whole new Dragon Punch and Fireball, and his Super Fireball bounces off the wall. So some of those are sort of subtle changes, others are very, very big changes. Both Storm and Magneto now have powers to sort of repel you or pull you in, which is super dirty. So if you're trying to catch up with them and they're sort of pushing you out, It's really easy to sort of control that space. So some of those characters get moves that sort of make them feel more like themselves. I think sort of gives you sort of she has the power of the wind. He's obviously using the magnetism.
Yeah.
Nice little touches there. But yeah, that kind of thing. And then some characters get, obviously the new characters have a brand new set of moves, and they've been balanced against all the other characters as well.
So there's a question in from Mario Chepcon 2, and there's a question, I don't honestly know if this is something that we can speak to or not, because I don't know what he's talking about.
No
As
comment.
Mega Man from the Star Force series considered at any point? I think he fits in with Nova and Rocket Raccoon in his team.
That's an interesting pairing, actually. We don't hear as much about Star Force Mega Man. We've gotten a lot of requests for Mega Man. Particularly, I think Mega Man X is probably the current crowd favorite. Mega Man has appeared in previous Marvel vs. Capcom games. And we've got Zero, who's of the Mega Man universe, although not actually Mega
Sure.
Man. He's his own man. But we do have in one of the new stages we just showed off here at New York Comic Con, we've got sort of a Days of Future Past thing happening with some of the characters that didn't make it into Marvel vs. Capcom 3 up on or didn't make it into Ultimate up on a poster from 2. And some of them have been slain, apprehended, whatever it might be. Mega Man is the one character that has not been slain or apprehended. What does it mean? Maybe nothing, probably nothing. It's just a poster. Don't worry about it.
Or
It's just a poster in the background, guys.
Or it could mean nothing.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah,
nothing.
so
Yeah.
you know.
Done,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Just a poster in the background.
You could totally quote him and put it all over the internet as being something, or
As
it could
long
be
as you
nothing.
just cut it off at the wrong place.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I'm very
that's-
familiar with that quoting on the internet.
Yeah, we see it all the time.
Just cut and slice.
Brendan Nerd Chris wants to know: will Heroes and Heralds be multiplayer?
Yes, actually, fully online, and you can actually join clans. It's kind of interesting. So you can, the Heroes and the Heralds, and so every week it'll sort of reset, and it'll decide whether the Heroes or the Heralds won, depending on who won the most matches, which
Sure.
faction you joined up with. So nothing too complicated, nothing too over the top, But you fight for factions and little control of certain areas around the world, and whoever can sort of dominate that section will be the winner for that week, and that'll reset it. But you can also play, you also unlock cards by dominating those sections. So the more you play, the more cards you'll unlock, the more crazy powers you'll have, and the more you can help your faction, whether you be on the side of the heroes or those, whatever sort of sheen that Galactus puts on his heralds. It's magic pixie dust.
The sweet glaze of cosmic justice.
That's right.
Something like that.
Injustice. Cosmic injustice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you
Galactus
know,
is, I don't know.
He's sort of
He's a complicated man.
Yeah. Never mind, I got a song stuck in my head.
I knew I'd do that.
Before we go, do you have a favorite character from Ultimate, from the new batch?
On the Capcom side, definitely loving Phoenix Wright. On Marvel side, I'm kind of split. I've been playing a lot of Ghost Rider and loving Ghost Rider. I just love it, and also because it's such a crazy crossover game. He does like the penance stare to like the most ridiculous like Capcom, like doing like Beautiful Joe's like, and he's like staring. It's like Beautiful Joe has nothing to regret. Like, come on, like he's just this goofy clown. So that's always funny, and also watching Phoenix Wright, like accuse Dr. Doom of and like convict him in the court case is hilarious. And but for me, I think probably Rocket Raccoon is the guy I'm playing the most. I know he's our last character. We've ended with, I'm a mechanics nerd. I like the way the different characters play and how to figure out the different ways the moves interact.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of interesting different little tricks and setups and all sorts of very unique stuff that's very unique to him. And I'm a big nerd for that. So Rocket Raccoon, plus he's just adorable.
So cute.
Yeah, and hard to hit. So I do all right with him. He's good at getting out of the way. Yeah.
You're a jerk.
So
You're
those
so
are my
good at the
favorites.
games, and yet you master these little things.
Yeah, it's all about the little things.
Thank you for coming up, going through this whole crazy.
It's been my pleasure. You guys are hard to find, but more than worth it. So
Awesome.
you guys have the beautiful cat's eye view of this whole show, and you're doing good by the people online. So
Thank you.
God bless you.
Marvel, your universe.